Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Ruth, and let's chat about Anzu in the Realm of Darkness and the Continental Drifter. These are two graphic novels I'd like to share with you, and they were published in 2024. Might I add, I love the smell of like new graphic novels. There's just something about them. Also, uh, the graphic novels I've read so far, I loved all of the illustrations. I'll definitely let you know if I read any future comics, graphic novels, or mangas if I'm not really a fan of that illustration style. But so far, everything's been great, and I like that, of course, each uh, story has their own like flair to it. So, Anzu, she is ashamed of her name and she feels like she doesn't belong. And currently, her family is celebrating this festival called Obon, where the ancestors come and visit the living. So, in this graphic novel, I love the drawings because it's more of a dark tone. Um, the story surrounds a lot around the Japan folklore, and so when you think of spirits, sometimes you think of good and evil spirits. And so this one, even though you have like some Japanese monsters and spirits, even though they're supposed to be scary, the way that they're drawn, they're kind of have their own like cuteness in a way, and so that's why like dark colors were used in the story because you're kind of going into like a scary place. Um, the other thing I like about this book are she does write some Japanese characters in there, which I appreciate because I was able to read it, some hiragana, but I wasn't able to read some of the kanji. So I was disappointed in myself because I did take Japanese, and because I did not practice, you lose a lot of what you studied. So, pro tip: keep practicing your language. So it's very important to have to speak multiple languages. Um, so, two of my favorite characters in the book are Anzu, the main character, and a companion that she meets along the way, and it's a dog. And I think they work well together, even though they kind of had a little bit of a struggle in the beginning. Eventually, they found themselves being a good team because I think they realized that they feel like they were like the outcasts of their world, and that's how they connected. Some themes that this book goes into are one, even though you feel small or you feel like you don't have um, superpowers or you feel like you don't have the ability to do something, you do have special gifts that you can use. Even though it may seem small, it still will make an impact. The other one is this world is huge. You're gonna find somebody that has the same interests as you. So don't be ashamed of um, some interests that you have. For example, here, she was thinking about throwing away her manga, and for some people that might look weird, and for some people they love manga, so stuff like that. You're gonna find a group that's going to have the same interests as you. And then the other theme in this book goes around making hard decisions. Sometimes making the right decisions is the hardest one, but you have to stick to it. I had no dislikes in this book. So I definitely like this book. So the next one here is Continental Drifter. Similar themes to the first book where the character kind of struggles with feeling like she belongs. So in this graphic novel, Kathy, she's half white, half Thai. Her family currently lives in Thailand, but they go visit America often. And so she always counts down the time they visit America. And so, will she find what she's looking for? I love the difference of the illustration here because in the Continental Drifter, you have more bright colors than the Anzu. And she also shouts out some 90s shows, which I love. So she shouts out Full House, Step by Step, Family Matter, and Home Improvement. So love the shout out to those 90s sitcoms because the story also takes place in like when she grew up. So it was like she grew up in the 80s, and so it kind of tells her story that way. She also writes in her diary, and so she writes her experiences in her diary, and as the reader, you kind of feel like you're reading her diary because some of the pages here, as you move on to like the next chapter, it looks like pages of her diary. So, for example, it's like this. So you'll see like it's like lined paper, and then it kind of continues on that way. So I like that it kind of makes you feel like you're immersed into the story. Um, and at, once you finish the story, the author includes some of her personal pictures of her childhood as she grew up. And so I feel like it just kind of adds to the story as well. So I like that. And again, the message is really nice too. So both books, I believe, have a positive message, and a definitely good feel book too about feeling like you belong somewhere. My favorite character in the Continental Drifter, her name is Bree. So Kathy goes to a summer camp in America, and so Bree is her counselor, and Bree is just that like positive um, person that she could look up to that makes her feel welcomed in the camp and doesn't make her feel like she's weird. So I appreciate Bree for that. I forgot to mention in the book of Anzu, in the back of the book here, they or the author also lets you know like what type of like monsters and stuff that are included in the book, so you kind of have like an idea of like, okay, what kind of like evil spirits or monsters are these in Japanese folklore. So I like that too, that you're able to know what she's talking about. So final thoughts, I definitely would recommend you read both of these books. I give them 4 stars. Illustrations great, and the message is great. I would love to hear from you. Like always, did you like the book? Didn't you like the book? Who is your favorite character? Please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Happy reading.